I'm going to continue now with this scene here from my submission to the Alien Visitation Blender Challenge. And once again, this is sort of a space tour bus traveling to distant planets in the hope of seeing some aliens. And that's my take on the challenge. I had a little bit of a thought of doing something else, but I think I'm going to stick with this and see how it goes. So I've done a little bit of work on the chairs. As you can see, there's a headrest. I've changed the position of the bar. I've adjusted some of the seat. I put those on. I put this trim down and some pipes in here, just simple things, and some beams along there to keep things going. And I've also organized things now into some collections. So I'm just going to continue and do a couple of things. Oh yeah, and I put some vents up here. Now, you know, I said I was going to do some of this stuff in texture. And so, again, this could be block out or it could be the real thing that I keep. So let's use a cylinder. And let's go for 18. And I'll just put it as nothing there. Okay, here's what I'm thinking of doing. I'm going to select there and extrude some really simple stuff. For now, anyhow. I'll close that off, bring it back a little bit, and Control B. 1, 2, 3, maybe, and then we'll bevel this. Let's focus on that. Just want 3 in there. Let's make sure, not flip, but make sure it's facing right. Yeah, something like that. Okay, so what I'm thinking for this is okay, say it's there. If I take that and attach it to that, I can propagate it all the way down. Okay, so we got that. Alright, so the next thing I want to do is I'm going to take, you know what I should do? I should take this piece here, or just an edge. Let me grab that and break it out. We'll get rid of all this stuff here. I just want it to be the right width, and so let's turn the mirror and the array off for that. Yeah, let's not do that. Let's look from the side in wireframe. I'm going to make a little platform to hold oxygen tanks. Let me just go ahead and get this going and have I don't know, 2 or 3 tanks on this, and then I'm going to have some cables to attach it. Sort of a little bit rickety actually. Let's just start with that. Okay, so I'm just simply going to inset. I just need enough room to put an attachment on there. I'll get rid of that face and extrude that down. And now let's bevel these edges here. So just like a frame, right? Just with 3. And then we'll bevel all the edges here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus on that and bring in a new plane, scale it so it fits like that, and then I'm going to subdivide it so that it looks like I've got squares. Let's do, I think that's pretty square. Now I'm going to subdivide like this. Not too much, just something, maybe something like that. Okay, Control F and poke faces, Control F and tries quads. Again, you really should do this in texture, but I twice, I hold shift and pull in not too much. Yeah, like that. Fence-like thing. Extrude it down. Get a bit of thickness. Get rid of those bottom faces at the very least. Shade smooth. And I'll have that. I want to take that as long as it sticks out. So let's just scale it in the Y a little bit so it doesn't stick out anywhere, right? Yeah, okay. And I'm going to join that together, and I'll come in and I'll merge by distance just to make sure. Okay, so that fits. All right, so what we'll do is on top of that, I'm going to make a gas cylinder. So let's just start making that. I'll use a cylinder. I might go for 22 vertices actually, because I'll probably just instance this. But let's see, they're not going to stand up, they're going to be laying down, but let's get the approximate size of these. I mean, it can vary a little bit if you wanted to. Let's bring it up and then Control B and do quite a nice bunch of rounding there, so I can take this end and extrude it up, and I'll get rid of that face. And then we'll take the bottom and just round it. It's not closed, right? Okay, I have to make a face. And I don't know, just a few. Do that. Okay, we'll come in here, we'll take this one. I'm going to just split that into like that. And Alt S and pull that in. And then 2 for edge selection, Shift Alt and click these, and Control B and pull, and I want 3, but I'll drag an edge loop up, and then just to stretch that out nicer. Okay, so what we got going on here? Okay, we're gonna have to bevel this. Yeah, something like that. Okay, let's make sure it's facing out. Okay, so let's just select that, and I'm going to bring in another circle, and this one I'm going to go with, I think, 22 vertices. I'm going to make the top here. Zoom in on that. Try that. I'm going to press 2 for edge selection, and then switch to checker deselect. And yeah, that's fine. I can do it this way. E and S, bring those out, not too much, and then switch to individual origins, and that'll allow me to scale each of them like that. I just want to straighten them out. Okay, now I'm going to switch back actually, and Shift Alt and click, and then just Control click to go around the whole circle here, so we get all of it. E and S come in. Now I'm going to take it and Alt N, recalculate outside. Some of it was flipped. And let's take, let's see, how do we want to do this? Let's just fill that for the moment. I don't know if I needed to or not. Let's extrude down like that. Take this one and we'll extrude down and sort of scale it in a bit. And Shift Alt and click there. And we'll bevel there. I'm going to be putting a subdivision on in a minute. Let's take that and inset. And let's just focus just on that and go ahead and do Control. We'll try Control 1. Shade smooth. And I'm going to drop an edge loop in Control B just with 2. Bring it up just to do a little bit. I still want it kind of smooth. That's probably alright. Let's just see. Let's scale it in the Z. And just scale it overall. Okay, I don't want it there. I do want it down more. And just trying to get the size that I like. I'm not there yet. I don't know what's going on here. What part of it I'm not liking. Alright, that's probably okay. I'm going to apply the subdivision, and I'm going to come back in and just clean it up. I don't like that. Control plus X vertices. I'll just have to make a face there, and I could probably get rid of, I think I can get rid of those. Yeah. And on the bottom, Control plus X vertices. Just close it. You can make it a better circle, but I don't think I need to. If I get rid of that, does that change the shading much? I'm going to leave it. So I'm going to take this and that and join it and recalculate outside. And then we can take this, look from the front and rotate minus 90. Pull it down. Let's put that there and then just array them down in the Y and do 4. And then just sort of have them. I just want them close. To make it fit a little bit better. Just something like that. Okay. And now what I'll do is I'm just going to drag it down. And let's make a collection for this. I'm going to call this oxygen tanks. Okay. All right. So let's build the other thing there, the attachment. And let's just focus on that stuff. Something like this. I'll build it downwards. Get rid of that face and flip that. And just come up. This is pretty standard, type stuff. Bevel that with 3. And bevel both of these with 3. I think I'm going to scale shift Z. And maybe I'll make it a little taller. What I want now is duplicate that, extrude that down, get rid of that back face, take that face and bevel it. Okay, we're going to have that and then a hook on there. I think the way I'll do the hook is I'll take like this face, Shift D, and we'll take that, let's break it out actually. Take it and let's rotate Y 90. Let's get it to go through. And we're going to delete only faces, so I have that. And I'm going to convert that to a curve. And do this kind of thing. Let's shade smooth and see how that's starting to look. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll put the resolution at 3 for that and convert it to a mesh so I can join it. And I'll mirror it to the other side of this thing here. Don't worry about shading issues. Let's just set the 3D cursor to that. Set the origin to that. We'll mirror and then we'll see if I want to rotate it. Okay, now we're going to need actually this and this. So I'm going to take that up And for now, I'm going to rotate minus 90. And I'm going to rotate X 90. So you can see that that could fit in. It's gonna go up to the top later. So I better break that out. And coming out, let's the way I'll do this is I'll use a curve. Well, I'll use a whatever. I'll show you. I'm going to bring my 3D cursor there, and I'm going to bring in a plane. I could use a curve. I'm just going to do it this way. Merge its center. And then I'm just going to start coming out. In fact, I could convert that to a curve right away. I'll just pull it down to there. Let's convert it to a curve. There's only 2 points, so I can still edit that, but I could get some thickness on this thing. I'll get that to roughly fit. I could, I probably should. I'm just going to close it. Do that. Okay, maybe. If I do 6. Okay. So let's bring the stuff back, and what I want to do is I want to take this and this, and yeah, and I'm going to duplicate them. Look from the front. And I'm going to rotate minus 90. And these are going to go here. Now actually, I think I'm going to have to make everything bigger. So before I do that though, yeah, I take it back. Let me go into individual origins and see. I may not have that much room here. I'm just going to go as big as I can. Now that I've done that, I'm going to have to adjust some stuff here. So that's all right. I'll just redo this. Bring that back up. And I'll take this and I'll bring it back out. And I'll take this. Alright, something like that anyhow. This thing needs to have a hook on the end, so there's the hook there. Okay, so what I'll do is I'm actually going to get rid of that one there, and I'm going to take this one, duplicate it, and I'm going to rotate Z 180. I may be doing this a crazy way. Did I do that? Oh, I'm in individual origins. Rotate Z 180. Okay, so they're both in the same orientation right now, which actually works for that hook. Once I'm satisfied with the thickness, I'm going to apply that and convert that to a mesh, and I'm going to let's get rid of the mirror stuff for now, and I'm going to join some of this up. So this is that and that. Okay, this and this. Hopefully I got it on G. Let's just see. Okay, good. So now maybe we'll rotate it from here. Let's select that, Shift S, cursor to selected, set my 3D cursor there, and then we'll take this and we'll, in orthographic view, we'll just start rotating it, and then I can move it. Rotate, that's not rotating, is it? Rotating, I'll just sort of aim at the thing, put that in, come in here, grab that, and I'll come back to median point, and let's try normal and see how well we did. Let's just make sure that we're going up straight. We are doing okay. So yeah, okay, that probably would be all right. I can probably just move that just a little bit. Let's just do it like that. Yeah, okay, like that. And we're gonna have to rotate a bit more. So let's set that back in the 3D cursor. I'm just gonna play around with it till I get it. I'm just gonna rotate. Oh, we're close. But I probably better ways of doing this. Okay, let's go back in here and get that. Bring this back to median point. We're on normal. And just pull this down. Let's see how we did. I think we pretty much look like we're hooked on unless I've made a mistake. So does that look bad like that? Alright, it looks a little wimpy. At any rate, I'm going to take this and this. Okay, let's take the mirror off of that. And let's just join all this stuff together quickly before we... let's get the mirror off that. Control J. Now we'll select this and bring the 3D cursor there. Take that and mirror it in the Y. Yeah, it's not looking like it's the most sturdy thing in the world, but such is life. And how are we looking with respect to this? Okay, that is flipped. Let's try that. Okay, good. Now, this should all be in oxygen tanks. So let's take those and move it into oxygen tanks. And let's grab that, put it up there. Okay, right? So that's everything. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'll texture that separately. I'm just going to actually drag it down there. And let's notice I've got the chair. Okay, so these are all instances. So with that done, I'm going to Shift A. Actually, I don't need the chair main there. In fact, I want this to say oxygen tanks main. And I'm going to keep that stuff hidden and keep that there. So now I can bring in a collection instance of the oxygen tanks. And I'm going to set the origin to the 3D cursor and set the geometry to origin. Bring it back at least close to where we want it. Bring that up. It's possible I can even scale it up. Actually, do I want to do that? I might want to do that. And let's just see about getting this on. I can just duplicate it down. I'm not increasing my polys. I'm not sure where it goes. So let's see. Just roughly in the middle of that beam. So let's just do it this way. So we got extra oxygen tanks. And of course I can go back and edit the one underneath the ship and it'll affect all of them. So I can texture just the one and the texture we apply. I'm not sure I want 1,000,000 of these, but let's do one more and just get a sense for how this looks. Rather repetitive. But I could put some supports underneath that or boxes if I want, but I'm kind of thinking I don't care about that. Just have it like that. I changed my outline to white just because I think it looks stylized. If I bring it back down, I'll just do that so you can see it a little bit better. I hope that, I mean, this is high tensile stuff. This is space age, so this is really, really strong, right? That's what we're hoping anyhow. All right, so, okay. So, yeah, like I say, I can make adjustments to this. You know, if I take something here and I move it, it's going to affect everything, so I don't want to do that. And I'll just hide that one and go with this one. All right, so the idea is you know, that we can see those. Of course, I'll have a front on here, and we'll have some glass. some bolts along the windows and all that stuff. I'm not going to do too much more. We'll do a couple more things here and there. We'll do the front, and then we'll texture it, and we'll see how she looks in the end. And don't forget, you can come over here and just do a quick render. Okay. All right. Thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.